Boy, do we have a DIY undertaking today. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the new year. We are officially in 2024 and I feel like this year I really want to dive deeper into DIYs and specifically sewing DIYs and crafting my own fashion or reworking my own pieces. My first AdSense check was spent investing in a sewing machine, which has been such a worthwhile investment. I love my sewing machine. It truly makes sewing a lot easier. Who would have thought? But there's one thing that would be very helpful in that journey, and that would be to have a dress form. I am a sewing novice, and as you've maybe seen from some of my past sewing videos, they don't always turn out the best. The measurements are often off. So I got to thinking, what if we DIY'd or attempted to DIY a dress form custom to my measurements? You know, a lot of the dress forms out there are manufactured and not super custom, and you just kind of have to get lucky with the sizing. And you know, maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew with this one, but let's give it a good old try. You know, what can go wrong, honestly? Our first order of business is to hit up our local thrift store, of course, see if we can find these materials that we need to do this secondhand. I'm really big on sustainability and reusing items whenever and wherever possible. So let's hit the road, Jack, and let's DIY a dress form. I'm gonna be honest, this is one of those projects where I really don't know how everything is going to come together. I've been racking my brain for probably a week at this point, trying to figure out the logistics of making this dress form, and I'm kind of stumped. I have our beginning point, the materials I think we're gonna need, and I know where we're headed. I don't know what the road in between looks like though. So we are gonna figure that out as we go. First and foremost, let's talk about this. So you guys know me. We know each other on this channel. You know, I really wanted to use like all sustainable thrifted materials for this project. However, I have been searching for a floor lamp that would work for this for weeks at this point, and have not been able to find anything secondhand, which is really unfortunate because that would have been great for this. However, I just went ahead and picked up a really standard basic floor lamp from Walmart. I believe this was $10. And we're not going to be using any of like the lighting component, but we are going to be using the stand and the joining poles. What are these called? And the poles. You get it. Don't know quite what that's going to look like yet, but I am thinking of taking a wire cutter to like the actual lighting component. I also picked up 3 pieces of foam poster board stuff from the dollar store. My rough plan is to kind of trace out my silhouette on here and then make joining pieces to make it 3-dimensional. You see, the problem is I tried researching how to tackle this project and nothing I stumbled upon was quite right. Either the dress forms were being made out of duct tape, which I don't want. I want something more professionally put together than that. Or they were the other end of the spectrum where people were purchasing like dress form sewing patterns. And that's way too advanced for me. Like, I'm making this dress form because I want to get better at sewing. So I just kind of have to wing it. So we're winging it together. look what we have here. We have made some decent progress, if I do say so myself. This is coming together, honestly, a lot better than I was expecting it to. And so we have, we'll call this the skeleton. I have the skeleton formed and everything to my exact measurements. I have some circles I cut out that are the exact dimensions of my neck and biceps that I'm going to be gluing on here and here. I haven't decided yet though. I think I'm first going to cover those in our fabric before placing them on. Yeah, I think I'll leave those for last. But in the meantime, what we're gonna do to fill this out, I've been collecting newspapers for months now, and I really want to like fill the space with newspaper first, just to kind of take up space. I thought newspaper will fill it out enough to where it's stuffed, but I can still stick pins into it and everything. I'm naming her Genevieve because it's close to Jennifer and Jenny, but Genevieve. I also picked up some very cheap little pillows from Walmart. Fun little hack. If you need batting for anything, just get pillows. These were like $3 each. They have the same amount of stuffing as like a bag of polyfill, but you get a lot more for it and you get the fabric then with it too. I'll take the batting out, fill in the gaps, and just kind of an overlay on the form here. My final layer is going to be canvas, like a drop cloth canvas, simply because I just have some of that left over anyway, and I feel like that's a pretty typical fabric to see with dress forms. So, anyway. Okay. So here's the situation, boys and girls. We need to finish this dress form today. This has been going on for entirely too long. And, you know, honestly, there were a few more steps I was going to do, and I decided, nope, we are just gonna throw our canvas on here and call it good enough. Originally, I was going to cut up the pillows I had purchased and put some batting and whatever in here as well. I don't think I'm going to do that. I know I'm not going to cut up these pillows. I have a little bit of batting from previous projects that maybe I'll use to help stuff, but I was also going to do like a muslin layer, just like a base layer for it that we would then go on top of with our canvas. Also not going to do that. I just want it to be done at this point. I really do like the shape. I think it will come together nicely once the canvas is on here. But today, we have a long day of sewing ahead of us, and we'll see how that goes. I am absolutely not going to be purchasing a pattern to make this because honestly, I don't think it would help me anyway. It's probably a good idea to do so, and I would encourage all of you to do that if you're trying to recreate this. But, you know, I am just going to wing it and hope for the best. She's going to be a little wonky and unique, and that's okay because she is modeled after myself. All right, one more swig of coffee before we tackle this beast and round out our day. Pray for me. my God, it's done. It's done. I'm really starting to think this day would never come. We've made it. She's here. She's done. She is what she is. I'm not going to say this is the best DIY I've ever done. I know full well it is not. It is better than nothing. It serves its purpose. So here are the things I'd like about how Miss Genevieve turned out. Her height is like exactly my height, which is very lucky. I do think the structure of it and like getting that skeleton made and using the lamp base and all of that worked really well. It's just the overlay that I'm not super happy with. It looks very Frankensteinish and just not the cleanest. I was hoping it would turn out a little bit cleaner. Also, the measurements are a little bit off. I should have thought of this ahead of time, but I didn't. But making her skeleton my exact measurements meant that, you know, adding the newspaper and the canvas layer and everything would add a little bit more to it. So she's a little bit bigger dimension-wise than I am, which not the worst thing, but where the goal was to make it custom to my measurements, that kind of, damn, that was an oversight. But really, those are like the only two things. I could definitely go in someday and fix the canvas overlay, if you will. I just really think this is something, if you're going to take on a project like this, you need to invest in a sewing pattern and really do your research on what to do. This can be an example of what not to do. That's not entirely fair either, though. You know, it was a decent idea. Just the final execution of everything didn't really go as planned. That said, she is kind of a bad bitch, isn't she? Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in on this journey. I hope, if nothing else, you found it entertaining. Cheers to 2024. This is the first video of the year. Thought I was going to be posted a couple weeks ago, but she was a high maintenance girl and it took a little longer, and that's okay. So definitely subscribe if you're new to this channel. We have a lot of DIYs coming this year, hopefully, that turn out a little bit better than this one. I also do a lot of fashion and thrifting content, so be sure to stick around if you enjoyed, and with that, I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.